Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to talk about Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest from Saturday. Villa are now 5 wins in 6, and we're in 6. This incredible turnaround just keeps going, and we'll be getting into all of that after this. Okay, so it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. It was Villa Park and Nottingham Forest were the visitors. They had only scored 5 goals away from home and were on an awful run of form with Steve Cooper, their manager, in a lot of grief and under a lot of pressure. And it couldn't have been any different for us, Noah. We were in the best form I've seen in a long time. 5 wins from 6, in 6th spot now, and a 2-0 victory. And we didn't really have to get out of third gear.
I mean, not really, Scott. I mean, we
No.
just kind of cruised through the game. The first half I actually think Forest defended quite well. They didn't really give us too much to play with. I know we had that one attack where sadly Leon Bailey got injured. But to be honest, Forest, if they keep at it, they can probably stay up this season, like defensively wise. Like away from home, they're horrid, but you can see they're working on it and they're doing something right. But at the end, we're just playing that like good of football that one mistake, honestly, from them and Bertrand Traore just capitalizes on it, and that really sets us up for the game.
Yeah, it was almost a carbon copy of his goal on the against Leicester. Jojo Shelvey gives an awful pass blind, and he's just there to tap it into the far post. It was a great moment, and it was one that was needed because I think the first half was a little bit slow, a little bit sort of, not much happening really. We were kind of trying to frustrate them a bit. By keeping the ball, they were trying to frustrate us by having men behind the ball in a low block and not giving us much to work with. But once the goal went in, there was only really going to be one winner, and Ollie Watkins just keeps going. He got his goal in injury time. It was a beautiful, beautiful touch, I thought. His first touch was sublime, and then the little dink over the keeper, lovely.
I mean, I can't be the only one that thinks that if this was Marcus Rashford or Erling Haaland, Jack Grealish, that it would be all over Optus Sport, it'd be all over Sky Sports, it'd be all over the media in general. But, Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa's massively informed striker, by the way, who's unbelievable, just does that. And it just seems to be just the normal thing.
Yeah, I think that's 9 in 11 now for him.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just seeming like where he came from this season. Like, had he scored? I think he scored 1 or 2 goals before Emery took over. I think he scored against Palace and then against Brentford under Aaron Danks that game. And then he's just absolutely flourished. I know I spoke about it last podcast, but just his confidence be cloud 9. Like, he's been backed in. He's our main man. He's our go-to. And he's just repaying the faith, isn't he?
And he did it, of course, with Gareth Southgate at the match, as was Prince William and Prince George. So, if you're going to do it when everyone that's paying your checks and, picking the teams for England are there, including the future King of England, it's not a bad time to step up and to show what you're made of. And then he did show us what he made of by getting his rig out, and he looks like he's been hitting the weights, Ollie. He's looking pretty good.
I mean, I wouldn't complain with a rig like that, Scott. That's for sure. That is, he's definitely working on that.
Absolutely, he's got me beat. That's for sure. No, but it's so good to see him get that goal because it just keeps the run going, keeps the feel good factor going. 2-0 sounds a bit more sort of maybe positive than the actual game really was. I mean, like I said before, we didn't really get out of like second or third gear at times in the match, but we didn't look like conceding either. Really, I think the only real sort of hairy moment was the long ball through where Emi Martinez came off his line and did a great bit of sweeper keeping.
I mean, that was the one that springs to mind. I know Martinez had to make one save. I can remember maybe 2 saves that was kind of straight at him. But if the striker, I forgot who it was, puts it left or right, it probably actually forces Martinez into a better save because the shot wasn't very good. It's just a simple save. But they didn't really, as you said, didn't really test us too much. They just, I don't know what their game plan was going forward, because Brennan Johnson was quite isolated, I thought. Mainly Morgan Gibbs-White was their go-to, and he's a very good player, Morgan Gibbs-White. I did want Villa to sign him for quite some time before he had that season. Was Sheffield United last season, I think he was at in the Championship?
Wolves, I think.
No, but he was in the Championship last
Oh, yeah,
season.
he was in the Championship, yeah, but he came from Wolves. Yeah, you're right. He was, and he had a really good season. And, he's got a bit of something about him. He's a strong lad. He's quick. He's got, a good bit of vision. But, yeah, him and Johnson really were sort of disappointing for them, and didn't really cause Mings and Konza any problems. I think Konza is probably playing the best football of his life right now. The last 4 or 5 weeks, he's been enormous. Mings has been great probably since Emery came in. And Moreno, another great game from him. Ashley Young just does what he does, no problem at all. I think really maybe only Bailey was a little disappointing until he did his hammy. I mean, and he's been probably the only one in this team that's, kind of been a bit up and down. And a few people have been asking, I think a few people were surprised that maybe Traore didn't start this match after scoring the winner against Leicester, but he comes in for the hamstring injury of Bailey, and he did well, got his goal, and so I mean it's just amazing how much sort of depth we got in a squad that really doesn't have a lot of depth in terms of numbers, but everyone seems to be contributing. We're finding guys like Traore that seem to be gone out of the picture, right? And now they're back in and making an impact.
Yeah, exactly. I know you were touching on how Leon Bailey's a bit hot and cold, but I remember when Bertrand Traore was starting for Villa, under Dean Smith, the people saying exactly the same thing about him. They're both form players, and at the moment, Bertrand Traore is in incredible form, and he could kick it from the halfway line and probably go in at the moment. But Leon Bailey's exactly that same type of player. Unfortunately, I think it's his first injury of the season.
Yeah.
And last season, he was just shocking with injuries. And
yep.
I was actually quite impressed with how he'd gone, like how he'd, bounced back from what was a horrific first season and actually quite, conducted himself quite well, got a few goals, few assists. Unfortunately, couldn't quite ever score away from home like our mate BT9, Bertrand Traore. But, I think that, as you said, the squad depth, just to be able to bring someone like Traore on with his quality, man, what do we pay, £20 million for him or something? 15, £20 million? Yeah. That's a bloody good player to have on the bench, and then bring him straight on.
That's right. Amazing. And apparently Unai Emery was a fan of him when he was at Lyon, and, tried to sort of sign him, I'm not sure if it was Seville or Villarreal, which club he was at the time, but he was certainly impressed when they made that run to the Champions League semi-final, knocking out Man City. Traore was a big part of that team. And, he's got the quality. John Terry brought him in, gave him the sort of the Dean Smith, sign this guy. I've played with him at Chelsea, and he's got it, and he seems to be repaying us now after his little loan spell at Turkey, and I'm so happy for him. Also, McGinn is another one I'm so happy for. Early on in the season, people were starting to talk about him maybe leaving or being left out of the side, and he's just really picked up the sort of John McGinn Championship that first 6 months before he did his ankle in the Premier League, when he was really one of our key players behind Grealish. He was probably our second most influential player in that first season in the Premier League. And he's back to that, loving that. No Kamara in the squad, which was interesting, because we did hear for Leicester that he came off just as a precaution, apparently, but seems to be a bit more serious than maybe first expected.
Touching on McGinn, first of all, I think he wouldn't be the first one to say. He would be the first one to say that he was not playing very well this season. He's a very honest character, as you hear him speak to the media a fair bit. More recently that we're winning, but he was always saying how he just couldn't get going, and he wasn't been playing the right position under Gerrard. It's not suiting him. And to be fair, he's playing a very similar position at the moment under Emery, like a bit of a deeper midfielder. But he's actually getting a bit more license, I reckon. As you saw, we brought Dendoncker on, for example, and he actually got the rise to go up forward, and he looks so good attacking. But I think when Kamara comes back, we'll see McGinn go back to that attacking sort of position, and he's really blossoming, and I'm honestly so happy for him. With the Kamara situation, I think that he was taken off for precaution. I think in the press conference, Emery, I think he said he was a bit sore or something, so he's going to not be in the squad this week.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure him and Cash and potentially Coutinho aren't far away. I mean,
yeah.
you had those three guys back into the team. Like that's honestly crazy.
I would love to see Coutinho playing in this team with this sort of, confidence and fluidity. Even if it's just like half an hour off the bench or whatever, that could be very exciting. And another one that's exciting, I think, is Jacob Ramsey. I thought, he played quite well. He's coming back to sort of his best sort of form recently. I'm really happy for him. And as you were talking about McGinn getting forward, I think the fact that we've got Ramsey, Buendia, all these kind of guys that can kind of like rotate, go in and out and sort of, so when McGinn goes forward, for example, Buendia or Ramsey know, I have to tuck in now and take his spot, and it just makes it so more unpredictable and so much more fluid. It's great.
No, exactly that. And what I actually like to see is like Buendia got subbed off. And I didn't see it, but a lot of people were saying how frustrated he was. He was punching the bench or something when he came off.
Okay, I didn't see that.
I got nothing wrong with that. I think that's absolutely like passionate, because obviously Buendia didn't have the greatest game, and but unfortunately in this situation, you're going to get dragged for someone that's probably going to do the job better. But he's fighting for the shirt and he wants to do extremely well. And if it's not working, he's upset that he didn't do his job correctly. And Buendia is probably still in the best 11 we got, so he'll probably start next week and be able to put it like do it right again. But
yeah.
I'm actually quite surprised how quick Jacob Ramsey is with the ball when he dribbles. Because he is bloody quick. He reminds me of Jack Grealish dribbling with the ball. Like it's crazy to see. Because obviously Grealish is bloody quick with the ball, and JJ just seems to have that extra yard of pace. I feel like he's quicker with the ball than without the ball.
Yeah, I mean, like that. I think that's a real skill as well, because we've seen a lot of players over the years that are quick, without the ball and can knock it past someone and go. But when you're in those tight spaces, to be able to take touch with your left foot, right foot, and sort of weave through traffic at pace is a real skill, and something that not many players do have. So you can just tell once he gets the ball in space and he starts running at the defense that they start kind of crapping their pants a bit, and that's what that just gives us another dimension. We got Buendia, who tries the little flicks, the little through balls, the touches, the back heels. We've got Douglas Luiz just ticking the ball over constantly. Left, we go out to the left, we go out to the right. We got McGinn holding the ball, taking pressure, turning in tight spaces. They're so different. Like it's such a different blend in there. And but we don't have any kind of hatchet men or players that can't play football. They can all play football, but they all got these other little skills that they're really good at. And it's just with Ollie leading the line as well. It's really coming together so well, and I just don't have a bad word to say about any of them. I just love them all at the moment.
I mean, that's the same with me, but if you were to tell Steven Gerrard these guys could all play football, he'd probably not believe you, because he couldn't get them playing football at all.
Well, I mean, Chelsea should be wiping the floor with us, apparently.
So then we go to Stamford Bridge and do that to them. So
exactly. And Emery didn't think that they'd wipe the floor with us. He thought, we can beat them, and we did. And and then let's look forward, because this could be the crowning moment of the season on Saturday. Because I would say outside of, Man City and Arsenal, Newcastle and Villa are the two informed teams in this league. And we're both sort of had really good seasons, and we're punching above our weight maybe a little bit. We've had we're both in unbelievable form. They just recently beat West Ham 5-1. And did they play on the weekend? I'm guessing they did.
They came from behind to beat Brentford 2-1.
That's right. They beat Brentford 2-1 so they're in great form. They've got Isak banging in the goals, Callum Wilson, but they're like doing a similar thing to us in terms of they've got guys like Longstaff and Joe Winton and these guys who, were kind of like they were memes. They were, Almiron as well, and now he's turned them into a really good side, and these guys are keeping sort of bigger names maybe out of the team, So I think it's going to be a really good test. I think Villa Park is going to be absolutely buzzing, and it's going to be live on TV, and this could be the real moment where people start going, "Ooh, okay, Villa are serious."
I mean, I think people are already starting to take notice of both Villa and Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle in third, so you've got to be taking notice of what they're doing. But I tell you what, this is going to be some game on Saturday. Going to be an incredible atmosphere. I wish I was going to be there. One of my best mates is actually jetting over he's going to be there to watch the game, which I'm very, very jealous about. But
yeah,
there's one thing I think that's going to get us over the line on Saturday, and that's the crowd.
Yep.
Villa Park is going to be bouncing. I'm not sure, you watch Villa on tours, they were bouncing after the Forest win. Everyone's just on cloud nine, and we're just kind of floating with it at the moment. Why not embrace it? Because unlike you, Scott, you've seen Villa be pretty good. You've seen us win some trophies. I've never really seen a decent Villa side, because when I started going for it, it's kind of started the decline, really. Seeing us mainly fight for relegation in the Premier League, and this is the best I've seen us play. So I'm absolutely loving this. I can't wait to watch the next game. But onto this
absolutely.
game.
I mean, and back when they were sort of good, when I was a teenager, that was in the 90s, and we didn't really get football over here like we do now. I didn't really watch the games live. We got a highlights every Monday night. That was about it, really. You might get the odd FA Cup match or something live, and then the Fox comes in, the satellite TV, and we started getting the games live then. That was probably about maybe 2000, 2001, really, when we first got it. So, but in those 90s period, we were a good side. We were going for trophies. We were finishing in the sort of top 6, top 2 one year. That was a great year. But I think even now is kind of more exciting in a way, just because the league's bigger. It's more quality. We've got a manager now who is a proven winner, is an absolute football geek, genius. He loves it. And, I really think he's going to take us far. And and then, if we can get into Europe and, the Europa League, and, you see, I wouldn't really want Champions League right now, to be honest. I think that would be a bit too much. Sure, I'd take it, and it'd be amazing.
The money would be good, though.
The money would be sensational. But I think if we could finish 6, fingers crossed, and get into Europa League, Unai Emery, he knows how to win that. He's done it 4 times. So that would be perfect. And what a tournament round it would be. It's just it's unbelievable.
I mean, as I said, I think in the last podcast, it feels like a different season to when I was there. When I went there, we were so bad, Scott.
I know.
We were so bad. And I was even messaging Max from Villa on tour, and he said he can't believe the time I came over into what it is now. It's just crazy. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, where we're going to finish or anything, but you got to look bright and have 2 games in hand. Liverpool now 3 points behind us with the draw last night. If the season finished now, I'd be just absolutely static. What would be 6th or whatever? And I'm just completely amazed by the manager we've got and how good he is, and that we actually got him when we were in the position that we were, more than anything.
And it was interesting. I did hear a comment from Emery that he's still going to splurge big this summer, and he's looking at bringing a striker, even with Ollie banging in the goals. So I don't know if that means we're going to have competition up front, or if he's going to move Ollie, maybe if we're going to play with 2 strikers. I don't know. There's so much that could happen. But if we are going to bring in a big striker this summer, then wow, it just shows we're not messing around. That's for sure.
Oh no, exactly that. And I mean, I just think squad depth in general would be good for us anyway. If we are going to buy a striker, I mean, we're going to buy someone that we're going to need. Unfortunately,
especially if we finish in Europe.
Yeah, we're going to need players. If we went into the start of next season with this roster, you get Archie, you get Aaron Ramsey back. It's not good enough anyway to compete, like to let alone compete in Europe, but play in Europe. We're going to get battered off the park even against the like the teams from Russia or whatever.
I mean they're all battled hardened. They play in Europe most years, most of these teams. So it's not going to be easy. Like even in the Europa Conference, if we qualify for that, I think that would be a huge test and something that I wish we would really go for, and I think Emery would go for, because I mean I don't know if you remember when Martin O'Neill threw the Europa League against CSKA Moscow.
I've been told so many times.
That was so disappointing. And
did you actually hear him come out and speak about that?
I did, but remind me exactly what he said.
I'm pretty sure he said he feels actually really bad about it because he didn't realize how he thought trying to get Champions League would mean more to the fans than winning the Europa League. That's pretty much what he said.
Well, sure, but he failed at both. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was a good plan, Martin O'Neill, if it works, but it didn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, enough about him. It looks like he might be signing for Leicester, which I saw, which I was surprised by. But I was like, what year is it? Is it 1995 or what's going on?
It must be.
They're going to get Emil Heskey back and lead the line with him or something. I don't know. But, but look, we're going up. We're playing well. We're just ticking off these wins by week by week. We've got a huge match against Newcastle on the weekend. Give me your prediction, Noah, before we sign off.
Well, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game. It's either going to be, I'm going to go for a win either way. It's going to be a 1-0 Villa or a 2-1 Villa, off the fact that we're playing at home.
You have to stick your neck out. Which one?
I'm going to go 2-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
I think it could be one of those sort of last minute Bertrand Traore sort of Trezeguet in the League Cup against Leicester, last minute winner, and just bring the roof down, Villa Park going mad and, pushing on for Europe. So please let us know what you thought about the game against Forest. Let us know your predictions for Newcastle on Saturday, where you're going to be watching from, all of that. Some of your comments and interactions recently have been so good. We really appreciate all of you.
The Leicester game was crazy. So many newcomers as well. Someone from Norway, I believe, was just subscribed to us as well. I saw in the comments. So many new subscribers. Unbelievable. So we do appreciate you all.
We certainly do. We make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. I know about half of you that watch don't subscribe, and please fix it for us. Me, do it, please. Come on, just do it now.
Don't worry about me, Scott. Just do it for Scott.
Do it for me. Do it for me. And we're coming up to our 100th episode soon as well, which we'll do something very special for that. I'm sure we'll let you know. But yes, the Unai Emery dream continues up the Villa, and we'll see you after Saturday. See you later.
See you later.